nigga Muck in the club like, fuck that shit. Got my tone in the club like, fuck that shit.
Episode 10. Marc, How I Met Victor. Going to school was my favourite. I would wake up early, check my backpack one more time, making sure I am fully prepared for all classes. I've given another look to the clothes neatly folded on the chair, waiting for me to put them on. Oh, school! The smell of the classroom, the textbooks that are loaded with knowledge, and the teachers. I wondered every day, when shall I become as smart as they were? It looked to me so distant and yet so close, especially when I was totally concentrated on learning as much as I could. There was never enough time. After brushing my teeth, washing my face and combing my hair neatly back, I would be running down the old wood stairs of our townhouse, storming into the kitchen. My mum would have prepared toasts with butter and tea with a hint of milk. I wouldn't spend lots of time on the table for breakfast. My hearing would be completely fixed on the road. I was listening, trying to overhear the familiar sounds of Tracy O'Donnell's bike. Once I heard Tracy leaving their yard, I was darting for the door. This was my signal. Mum would be waving at me perched on the front door holding her teacup. I would be almost running to school in the next 10 minutes. Not able to keep with Tracy, I would soon have my own bike. I've been saving for a new bike the whole summer. For the purpose, Mr. Stevens was letting me mow his garden and gather the fallen leaves. He was saying that I must wanted to buy that bike too much and should slow down a bit not to overwork myself. He would be giving me homemade lemonade and a piece of Mrs. Stevens' chocolate fudge before I went home. I was working all summer, and in early October, just a few weeks after, we began the new school year, and I was ready with the money. My dad and I went together to buy the bike. I chose the best one in the store and was so happy. It was good, and I was always learning in advance the upcoming lessons as I spent this afternoon checking out my new shiny bike and riding it in the neighbourhood. I would be like Tracy O'Donnell now, rushing to school with my bike. I touched the rim before I mounted it. It felt so good gliding down the street. I passed the church at the corner, waved at the owner of the grocery store who shouted, "Hey Marc, that's a nice bike." I felt even prouder. When I arrived at school, it was already packed. Pupils from all grades were rushing towards the interiors. Some were trying to steal a few more minutes for a quick chat with their friends. I parked my bike alongside the rest of the bikes and managed to catch a few jealous looks. I stepped away slowly and entered the building. School was okay. I used the breaks between classes to run to my bike to check it out. Took Johnny and Brian with me to show it to them, and they were shaking their heads approvingly. Johnny had his own bike, but it was a rusty one and must have been someone else's before. Brian was taking the bus as he was living downtown, and his parents were not letting him ride to school. I was glad that the day finished, as I would be with my bike. On my way out of school, I didn't notice Ryan Smith and his gang staring at me. I only noticed Tracy gracefully mounting her bike and slowly pushing the pedals. She is so beautiful. "Hey, dork," Ryan shouted. I tried to duck low as if I'm not hearing him. "Dork, I'm speaking to you. Are you deaf or what?" And he pushed me. "Is this bike yours? That's a nice bike. I will look good on it. What would you say, chaps?" His gang was almost applauding him. "That's right, Ryan." Ryan came menacingly towards me. "Give me the bike, Marc." "Come on, Ryan, leave me alone." "What did you say, dork?" He pushed me harder and headed towards my bike. "I will take it myself." I threw myself at him, trying to punch him, but he must have seen me make the move as he shifted a bit to the left and hit me so hard in the stomach. I dropped to my knees in pain. Tears began falling from my eyes. "Don't touch it, Ryan," I tried to cry out. His hands were already on the rim, and he was ready to mount. "Ryan, you heard Marc. Don't touch it." I heard a voice coming from behind. "What would you do, Russian scum?" hissed Ryan and continued. "I will kick your ass." Ryan turned towards the Ukrainian boy. His eyes were red as the devil's. "Are you threatening me, you immigrant scum?" What happened afterwards was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Ryan left the bike aside and approached the boy. Not sure what he was doing, but all of a sudden he began making strange kung fu movements. Ryan started laughing at first, but stopped after the kick hit him. He threw himself forward, but the Ukrainian jumped back like a cat and punched him so hard that Ryan lost all of his breath and sat on his fat ass panting. His gang was scared. They just picked him up and took him away. I kept being on my knees, amazed at this Ukrainian boy. He seemed like Superman, only a bit skinnier. He gave me his hand so I could stand up. I am Victor.